Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
And I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell, and today we're going to be reviewing She-Hulk, Episode 8.
All right, so diving in here, I guess I'll just go first here. For me, I definitely started off strong with this show, really liking it, then has definitely fallen off week to week for me. This episode, and I know we're going to hear it a million times over from everybody, at least my opinion. I don't know TJ's opinion yet, but I really like this episode. And I know everybody, well, yeah, because it's the one with Daredevil in it. But I think that either it was the fact that it was the penultimate episode or that it was the episode with Daredevil in it. But this episode had a tone that was consistent with episode 1 and 2, in my opinion. I think that this episode handled itself, and I have been applauding its use of comedy and stuff. I just mean I think that this episode handled itself as a funny comedy MCU show, whereas I feel like the past 4 episodes have really just been this funny, wacky, zany comedy with She-Hulk at the center of it. Sometimes at the center of it, even not even all the time, in my opinion. But I think that this one really pulled things back towards a story front and a more consistent tone of a mix of the superhero and kind of the comedy for me. And then on top of all of that, having Charlie Cox in it as Daredevil, I think, was just kind of the icing on the cake. Although I think even if you took him out of it, I do think that this is a much stronger episode than we've gotten lately. What do you think?
Yeah, I have to pretty much agree with you on everything you said. I definitely enjoyed this episode more in line with the first and second episode, I'd say. I laughed a decent amount at this episode. I thought there was a lot of funny stuff, including the relationship between She-Hulk and Daredevil. I thought that was all good. I was okay with the leapfrog type villain, like episode villain, kidnapping the guy
Luke
who makes
Jacobson.
Yep, I was fine with that. I really am tired of seeing what you just scrolled by him. What's that guy's name?
Todd?
Him? Yeah, Todd. Tired of seeing him. He's just annoying. He, like, every time he comes on screen, I'm like, just get off my screen, please. But yeah, other than that, I was pretty happy with the episode until the ending. The ending I was kind of mixed on. Personally, I thought that was weird. Okay. I did not like the talk to camera, make a joke about how it's the end of the episode and then it's not the end of the episode. I thought that was kind of, I don't feel like they've committed enough to that whole
to
bit
the kind of
this.
fourth wall thing. Yeah.
I feel like they really go in and out of it between episodes, and that I feel like if you're gonna do it, and if you're not, just don't. But overall, I'll say, and of course, Daredevil showed up. That was cool. But overall, I enjoyed this episode. It's probably the most I've enjoyed it since the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much in firm agreement on that, and it seems like a lot of people too. Obviously, a lot of people are saying, how much they like Daredevil's appearance. I've seen a couple, all that I know of that I've seen, all ironically like, oh, they ruined Daredevil type of thing. But every time I see those, I read the subtweet or whatever, and they're like, guys, it's sarcasm, or I'm joking or something. So I haven't seen actual people being like upset about the way that he was handled. Although I'm sure out there somewhere there are people that didn't like that Matt Murdock smiled, multiple times in this episode. But I really just kind of, I guess we could just talk about him just to start, because he is kind of at the forefront of everybody's mind with this episode. Like we kind of said, I really loved the way that Matt Murdock was represented and brought to life here, and Daredevil as well. And I am not one of these people. I really would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I maybe was at a 2 in terms of like problem with how Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin was portrayed in Hawkeye. I was very low end of that spectrum. But I did still have some things where I was like, does that quite line up? Does that feel like that? This, to me, I didn't have any issues. And I know there's going to be people that say that they do have issues, and that's totally valid and totally fine. But for me, I felt like this was the exact same character from the Netflix show, just in a different environment, in a different setting. And I thought that both the writing and Charlie Cox really brought that to screen like very, very well in this episode.
Yeah, I agree with that. I felt like he was still kind of this very charming kind of guy who got along well with like mostly everybody. And he's always, finding, I feel like, a new girl to kind of flirt with. In this case, it's She-Hulk.
Or a little more than flirt with in this case.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing, I thought the fighting sequence was awesome. I thought him like kind of climbing down that building and everything was really cool, and him taking out all the guards was cool. You got a hint of the Daredevil Netflix theme music, I think, at one point, which was really
great.
cool.
Yeah.
It's something else I noticed that when they're talking about, I think they're at the bar. I think they're at the bar, maybe they're on this like chilling in front of that billboard or whatever it was, or that sign. He like mentions that like he has a firm, and he says like, "Oh, we," and I'm like, "Oh, I wonder who we is." Like, are we gonna, bring back all the classic characters?
Yeah.
Which I hope we do, obviously, but that has yet to be shown. But yeah, I agree with you. I felt like it was the same person just pulled from the Netflix show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought that too. How did you feel about the new costume? I feel like seeing it in motion and everything. I really liked it.
Yeah, I think I'll be honest. I prefer the all red the one from the Netflix show. But this one's cool. I think it looks better in motion. I don't think it looks as cool if he's just standing there.
Yeah,
that might be like a weird take, but yeah, for me personally, but I'm okay with it. I'm not like overprotective about any of the suits or anything.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think it definitely looked better than I thought it was going to look. Not that I was worried at all, but I was just like, when we saw the yellow and red in the trailer, it's just like, all right, they're going for it. Like, let's see how it's gonna, really
and
look.
And they do joke about it, like, oh, who chooses like ketchup and mustard colors together?
Exactly, yeah.
Which
I thought that was great that they really they did that, but and then they played. I like too when she was like, "You're a superhero? I've never heard of you. Who are you? The Yellow Devil, or not Yellow Devil? What did she say? The something devil.
Yeah, I forget what she said.
But yeah, another thing too that I liked was that they kind of played up him, having that suit, and I like that he said that he was coming in to town because he was getting some new suits from Luke Jacobson, because people were like, but Melvin made his suits. What? This is breaking canon and everything. And it's like, he says he's picking up new suits. He could still have Melvin doing stuff on the side.
2 suit makers. One in LA, one in New York.
Maybe Melvin, maybe Luke bought the, the patent for a Daredevil suit from Melvin. There you go. But anything can happen. But I did like how they kind of played around with that. And I just really liked their chemistry. Both She-Hulk and Daredevil as characters, but also Charlie Cox and Tatiana Maslany, I thought, had really great romantic chemistry. It like natural. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone not have good chemistry with Charlie Cox, but I really like that went through. And I really just want to see more of the two of them interact. Like, I thought that not that Tatiana Maslany wasn't before, I think that she's been the consistent high mark of greatness in this show. But I just think that when two of them got together, I feel like they just kind of felt alive in the way that the characters haven't in the last few episodes. But I thought that was done really, really well. But yeah, what are some other moments of yours that you liked? Now, we do have if we want to say, we do have them officially hooking up. We get the great moment of Daredevil's walk of shame and everything.
We do, yep. Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. But one thing I will say that I did really like, too, is the show got back to what I think we all thought the premise was going to be, which is lawyer by day, She-Hulk by night, or whatever.
Notice how the title card was this time attorney at law.
Yeah, and no, exactly. It didn't change at all. And I feel like that's really kind of a good way to look at it, too, is that about going back to that tone that kind of matched with the earlier episodes of it's not doing the name change thing, which is a small thing. I mean, it's a joke and everything. We're just using it as an example that, again, kind of going back to that little bit more serious tone of not changing the title card or anything or doing stuff like that. Some things that didn't work for me in this episode, we talked about it a little bit before, the kind of fourth wall break at the end. I feel like just because they have been so inconsistent with the fourth wall break, I don't know whether I'm supposed to feel like it's ominous that Jen is confused, or if she's just confused because we're seeing something we're not supposed to, or what kind of the deal is with that. And I feel like if they had used it in a more consistent way, it probably would have cleared that up a little bit better.
I feel like they use it like a ton in a 2-second span, where it's like she walks in after Charlie Cox leaves. Oh, you're still here? And then her friend comes in, and then she talks to us for a minute. And I'm like, this is a lot for just just kind of shoehorn this in here. I feel like just because you're like, oh, we're gonna do this in this show. And
there were a few episodes that I don't even think they had any fourth wall breaks, or if they did, it was one.
It was one, exactly.
Or nonverbal or something. But But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the end before we wrap up here of this gala. We kind of figured that all this was building up to some sort of an issue happening with this Hulk King with intelligentsia and wanting her blood and all this stuff. So it kind of all comes to a head in a pretty real adult kind of thing of they basically, that guy recorded them having sex. And
what was his name?
Played it. Oh, I can't freaking remember. Jim?
Chad. I think it was Chad.
Okay. There you go. We should have known by that name.
Josh.
Josh. Okay. There you go. We knew it was a generic 4-letter, All right. So, anyways, but we do have the end of this with what does that say there? Oh, it says, okay, sorry. I thought there was a thing that said intelligentsia there, but we do have this intelligentsia video go up.
I think it's up a little bit, but.
Oh, okay.
It says in that little blurb right there.
Oh, okay. That's what I was losing my mind on. We have a little episode recap that we're looking at, but so we have this intelligentsia go up this video that kind of shames Jen and does these different things. And I like that they said too,
how dare you have sex? How dare you?
Yeah. And it said how dare you take the Hulk's power or something. Yeah. They don't even know.
And then it quickly goes, and you're a slut. And I was like, okay, what? That's what it did. I was like, okay,
yeah, it was that. Yeah, that was, it caught me off guard at first, but then it gets pretty personal. Her parents are there, her family's there, and then basically, finally, after this whole season of her saying she's so in check with her emotions, control her anger, all this stuff, we then see that she cannot. In this, basically, all this stuff has been this mounting pressure inside of her, and she breaks the screen and kind of fully hulks out, kind of for the first time that we've seen. The only other time was kind of that first time with those guys at the bar that were kind of hassling her in the parking lot, and then Hulk jumps in to stop her. So we don't actually get to kind of see that rage. But, yeah, and then Damage Control shows up real quick with the sonic guns that they know work on Hulks and everything. And then we're left with kind of a lingering thing. And then there is kind of an ominous fourth wall break as the last moment where she kind of realizes that she's super angry and they're all seeing her like this, and then looks into the camera, and then the episode just ends. So I know we talked about the ending a little bit, but what are some of your thoughts on it? I know you said you didn't like the fourth wall break part, but how do you feel like we are set up into the finale?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, when they started showing that video, I
Yeah.
was like, is she? I was like, just break the screen or something.
Mm,
And she did, obviously.
yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I don't know if I really liked her kind of like I get her anger and everything, but at the same time, I feel like we've set up that she's so good at like you
Keeping
know
it in.
keeping it in, and then
Mm,
just to kind of let it go. And I get it's really embarrassing, obviously.
yeah.
But I don't know, that just didn't really quite work for me. Um, Again, I thought that whole kind of monologue from the intelligentsia thing was kind of weird and just
Yeah.
random stuff thrown in there, like and she's a slut too. It's like what?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, like, but I guess that's what you would expect from like incels on the internet, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I still need to know who this Hulk King is.
Yeah, I know.
Is it gonna be somebody that's actually like worth, thinking, or who do we think is gonna
And
be somebody like, oh my god, or do you think it'll be like, oh,
I don't know. I mean, oh my gosh. And I'm thinking maybe could it be at this point maybe not the leader? That's kind of where early things were going with it. I think that people were thinking that I was thinking too. Um, but maybe it is just this Todd guy. I don't know. But also based on trailers and
Fair
stuff,
enough,
we're
God.
still based on trailers and stuff, we're still supposedly getting more Bruce Banner and more Abomination. We're both in
Yeah, this
trailers and
episode gonna be
everything.
like, this last episode is gonna be like really long. You think?
That's what I'm wondering, but based on previous Disney Plus shows and based on this show, I would guess not. But at the same time, if all that stuff is in there and it's not just stuff that ended up in deleted scenes making its way to the trailer, which has happened before, I feel like a lot of ground has to kind of be covered here. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting. But that I think we'll do it for our review.
Real
Unless
quick,
you have,
sorry.
oh, did I miss something?
There's one. Danielle told me that apparently there's a theory.
Okay, I'm ready.
Going that it's actually her friend. It's
Oh,
actually
that it's
Nikki, I
Nikki?
guess. Yeah, I don't know. If that's
Interesting.
really true. I think
Well,
that'd be a
Nikki was
stretch.
kind of part of the weird kind of fourth wall break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Didn't she say like? Did she say like who are you talking to? At one point.
Yeah,
or
she said
no? Okay.
like, who are you talking to? And then she was like, she kind of looked over at Nikki and she was like, am I gonna
Yeah.
get she said, am I gonna get fridged or am I gonna get
Oh, I thought that was. I thought
whatever?"
those were some good like. I like those like references.
Yeah.
I thought they were good.
Yeah.
What did you think about? Sorry, real quick. What did you
No,
think
yeah, that's
about
fine.
the like all the women getting like a best woman lawyer award?
Oh. Yeah, I thought it was funny because I feel like that's literally something that would happen.
I liked
like-
that like Mallory was like, I'd like to thank everybody that literally asks me every single day like how it is to be a woman lawyer and stuff like that. I was like, that's a good little
Yeah, twice the
I guess,
work
like,
and
shot
half the
or
pay or
whatever you wanna
whatever.
call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was like I was like surprised. I was like, oh, everybody's like going up there and then
Mm-hmm.
going through those speeches. I thought was good. One thing that really annoyed me though was like that like all the sirens and like all that stuff going on. I was like sensory overload. I was like, what the? Like,
Oh, yeah,
I
like
I
at
think
the
it was.
end.
It ended up being the music,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like this big horn or something. That I was
Yeah.
like, can we stop this noise, please? Like.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, anything else?
I just hope it doesn't turn out to be what's his name. I hope it's not that
Todd?
Todd. Yeah,
I
that's
am
gonna be
getting
like-
I am going to prepare myself for it to be Todd. I hope not, but I'm going to prepare myself for it to be Todd.
him like Nelson.
Yeah, I really hope so. I really hope so. If Bruce and the Abomination are going to be in it, then maybe anything's possible. But yeah, guys, that'll do it for this episode 8 review of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk. The last thing I'll tell you to do is make sure to go over and follow us at the official PFN on Twitter, on Instagram, and on TikTok, where we are posting almost every day, whether it's trailer updates, news, reviews, reactions, and more. That'll do it for me.
And I'm your host, TJ Cornwell. Thank you for watching this review. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below, and we will see you next time.
Boom.